what the hell are the Seahawks doing? Apparently now the Vikings are out on Sam Darnold. I laugh at all the Vikings fans who are really pissed off in our comments because they weren't a part of the full episode. They only listened to the pulled clip. We were talking about how if they're going to bring back Sam Darnold, you need to pick a guy. I am so glad that it sounds like they're picking a guy. Stop with the stupid song and dance. Stop trying to keep the side piece when you've got you're engaged. Just get married and move on and stay committed to your wife. That's what they're doing here with J.J. McCarthy. They're letting Sam Darnold go off into the sunset, and maybe he latches onto something.
Sure, it's a nice summer fling.
Yeah, it was a nice little summer fling when your fiance was out of town. But the possibility here, though, of the Seahawks bringing in Sam Darnold, this has now been floated out there that's what the potential swap is. I kind of laugh at the concept of, hey, you think Geno Smith was great a couple of years ago? Here he is 7 years younger. It's literally the same exact concept of a guy who was a failed starter, got a second or a fifth chance, finally hits. He's got one good year, and then now you're going to pay just a younger version of that same guy that you just had. Sam Darnold going to the Seahawks, though, I don't mind it, but it just makes me feel the same exact way as I do about Geno Smith, except he's 7 years younger. You pay him a long-term deal. You're actually getting long runway, and you can continue to build around him so that over the next 3 years, you could enter that truly competitive window to win the division, to maybe get to a conference championship game. They're also already 1 year into the new coaching regime, so there's not a complete and utter reset with this whole system. I'm liking this. I actually, out of any of the options, before we even knew Seattle was on the table, we kept pitching potential teams for him to go to. I think Seattle's the best option for him to go to right now.
I am quickly losing sympathy or any real confidence in Minnesota. They were 14-3 last year, and they're scrapping it. It is shocking. We're
not talking about Minnesota, brother.
It's embarrassing.
The segment, we're not talking about Minnesota.
Seattle is going to do nothing with Sam Darnold. It's pointless to talk about Sam Darnold in Seattle because he's going to regress to doo-doo-ass Sam Darnold.
Okay.
That's what's going to happen. And that's all that we're going to do is lose one good team in the NFC North and have a bad team in the NFC West. Because the pattern of Sam Darnold is, historically, he's pretty bad. He's not that good. He goes to teams, he has a good game, he has 3 bad games. 1 step forward, 2 back. And then he gets to one destination where it's finally 2 step forward,
you hate
1
Sam
back.
Darnold all of a sudden?
I love Sam Darnold in Minnesota, slinging that rock. Everyone creaming their pants because he's got great ball placement, big arm. Where's this guy been? And now we're shipping him off to Seattle with 1 receiver and 2 backs. Okay, it makes it's just a total loser off-season saga if he ends up going to a worse team to perform worse, where he could have been in Minnesota putting up big numbers and being a true competitor in a better division in the NFC North. This is a boring, snoozer, loser move by Minnesota and Seattle. Good luck. Enjoy your 9 wins, Seattle. Maybe.
I didn't want this to go down the Minnesota rabbit hole. Because the page has been turned. The page is being turned here. It sounds like he's going to hit the market. Just because, and again, to continue to go back to this dating analogy, just because you flirted with the pretty girl at the bar for an hour doesn't mean that you're already committed to something else. You're already committed to something.
14 wins isn't flirting, Joe. 14 wins is a sex marathon all night in Vegas. That's what 14 wins is in the NFL contextually. Flirting is you're in the hunt in December. That's what flirting is.
You already made the commitment to drafting J.J. McCarthy.
That was a mistake.
They didn't know that Sam Darnold was going to be as good as he was as a starter.
Then adapt. Then play on the fly.
Any team is always going to opt to go with the first round pick that they just had. They have to.
They're morons. They don't have to.
It's also much cheaper.
They get entrenched in these stupid egos in the front office and saying, well, I can't believe I don't want to be the guy that missed on him and we didn't have a different first rounder.
No, but that's not what it is. But that's not what it is. Committing $45 million. We were just admonishing the Raiders for putting $45 million towards Geno Smith.
Yeah.
Why put $45 million when you're rebuilding this young roster that has a lot more holes than at quarterback when you already drafted a first-round quarterback when the rest of that money could be spent elsewhere to improve the rest of the roster?
Because Geno didn't do what Sam Darnold did. Geno would have been competing with Caleb Williams at the Bears level if we had swapped last year, if he was on the Vikings. It's different. Geno didn't get 14 wins in Seattle. That is a number that matters.
A rookie contract is a highly sought after, rare thing that NFL teams drool over. The concept of having a rookie contract. And you think that Kevin O'Connell right now isn't like feeling so justified in how good of a coach he is right now that he can reach any quarterback that he works with and think like, I'm going to get J.J. McCarthy right in the next 2 years. We're going to win a Super Bowl,
sure.
Damn it.
I think that he could be thinking that, and he would agree that his track record so far as a coach would be, I can just do this with whoever you feed me. But that's silly. That is a silly thought.
I don't think
that is flying too close to the sun. It is a ridiculous premise to think that every single guy is the same, especially when you're bringing in a young J.J. McCarthy who has struggled with pressure, who has been open about not being as mentally
struggle with
fortified.
pressure. He hasn't taken a snap.
You don't remember the college J.J. McCarthy? We have to keep context of J.J. McCarthy. He had mental health stuff. He had all types of stuff going on with him.
But he spoke out about how he handles his mental health. He didn't say that he has a mental health illness. You're making it seem like he's some unstable
I'm not
loon.
calling him unstable. I'm not calling him a loon. I'm just saying it's not very
Okay.
This is a very skip take, by the way. I remember.
Yeah, this is a really big
it's
skip
really.
take.
I'm not. I understand how it's sounding, but giving up on a dude that just had maybe one of the best quarterback season. They've had a better quarterback season than anything Kirk did in Minneapolis. Give me a break.
To get back to Seattle, though, what their plan now is for the future. I think that this only works out if they're able to immediately replace Geno with Sam Darnold. They're not in a draftable range at the current moment to go and get somebody. To trade up, you'd have to mortgage the future to get Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. It would be incredibly risky. It would be giving up a ton of your future while you're still trying to rebuild this roster. So if you're able to get Sam Darnold, I think that this is fine and it's a step forward in the right direction. Because again, you're replacing Geno Smith with an equivalent quarterback that is 7 years younger. You sign him to a long-term deal. You continue to build around him. You're already a part of this whole entire process. All that, wonderful, great shit. Just overall, I think that where Seattle is going sounds like it's in the right direction. But if they fail to figure this out in free agency, I would argue that they're moving downhill very, very quickly.
This checks all types of boxes for Seattle. You could say we just got a guy that had 14 wins and we're bringing him into Seattle. Why not? They should bring in Malik Willis too, a guy that found a little bit of success last year, younger quarterback that might have some upside. Bring in everybody.
Today?
Why not? Just bring in anyone.
You get so triggered by Sam Darnold.
I do get triggered by Sam Darnold because it's hard to do what he did. And the next quarterback that comes in, I'll say this again, J.J. McCarthy's never going to have the season in Minnesota as a quarterback that Sam Darnold had.
You
He just
hope
won't.
That doesn't happen.
I don't need to hope. I don't think he's that good. I think he's a fine quarterback that can maybe run for some first downs, maybe could hit a wide open receiver. But he didn't throw the ball in college, Joseph. He's Markelle Fultz. That's who he is.
He's Markelle
Fultz.
He's not. That's an awful cop. He's
not.
He's not Markelle Fultz. He's not Markelle Fultz. I find it really funny, though, by the way, that now all of a sudden DK might be interested in coming back and signing an extension now that Geno's on the way out. I was reading an article that cited that apparently there were rumors of rapport issues between DK and Geno Smith. So we joked about it last show. It was kind of Geno Smith's fault that DK wanted out. If you could keep DK and Jackson Smith-Njigba and you bring in Sam Darnold, I think that offense has...
It helps.
It's
not
has
just,
a ton of potential.
Yeah, it's not just Jackson Smith-Njigba. You have two good wide receivers. You have two running backs that you can lean on.
Yep.
That is a different situation. If it's just JSN and we're drafting other receivers and Jake Bobo and that's what we're rolling with, then we are in a very not... You're cooked.
Gavin Estes had pitched the thought of bringing in Joe Milton. I have a funny Joe Milton story. I found this out last year in Indianapolis. Apparently, Joe Milton refers to himself in the third person.
Oh, yeah?
Apparently. That's a rumor. Apparently, somebody told me that they met with him and he refers to himself in the third person. So he's doing the Jimmy episode from Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I like that. Yeah,
I don't know if I do.
Joe's got a big arm.
Yeah. Joe doesn't want to play there. Joe doesn't like the idea of playing in the rain.
Look, I'll say this. If Desmond Ridder got a legit shot in the NFL on 2, 3 now different teams, Joe Milton should be able to start for 3 different teams. We should be able to test him out, try him out.
Joe Milton,
He's done more exceptional things on a football field this past year than a lot of other quarterbacks that have got chances.
He played like a game, didn't he?
Did you see what he did?
He played a game against Buffalo after they were already in the playoffs. It's a perfect example of creating something that wasn't there.
I'd give him just as much of a shot as any other dog shit quarterback in the league. I would. And he should get those opportunities.
That's funny because he is a dog shit quarterback.
He should have those. Yeah, you know what? Go ahead. At least get in front of people. Give yourself a chance instead of being buried in New England.
The UFL is perfect for that.
No, he's better than a UFL quarterback. I don't know.
I think give him a UFL shot. Go let him tear it up in the UFL. If he wants to play, go tear it up in the UFL.
What game did you lose a bet on where Joe Milton carved you up? What was it?
Nothing.
What game where he was at Tennessee?
None.
How are you not?
Wait, hold on. Milton? Go through Joe Milton's box scores. What do you mean when he tore it up at Tennessee? Well, find me a game. Find me the game where he tore it up at Tennessee.
Yeah, that was a great. There were some stinker boxes.
Wait, I want to.
But I mean, for your guy, like the prototypical quarterback that I imagine that Joe is in love with for the NFL and the draft and the next
I don't
star,
like guys who can't process or make decisions. No. This is an annoying thing where like people assume because I liked Anthony Richardson I didn't like Joe Milton. Anthony Richardson played a very small amount of time in college, and that was his biggest weakness is that he needs more experience. Joe Milton had a lot of opportunities to start. A lot. He played a lot of football, and
he did get a couple full seasons.
He showed the big ass arm, and that was it. He got up to, if he was moving up, this is like, so say this is flat line. He started here, he moved up a little bit, and then he was just,
okay.
Like he just stayed at like level 1. He didn't move up any further. His most passing yards that he ever threw were against Vanderbilt. And outside of that,
it's a good team.
He threw 383 and 4 touchdowns against Vanderbilt for 66% in college. Outside of that, his best game was 287 against Florida, where he completed 58% of his passes at 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. I
hope Minnesota signs him. I hope they bring him in to replace Sam Darnold. I hope Minnesota gets 3 wins next year. Honestly, honest to God, it's just so stupid. You know what? I'm actually fully flipped. I hope Darnold proves me wrong. All-pro season, 5,000 yards in Seattle, 6-0 against the NFC West.